The original DuckTales and 80 years of Disney Duck comics didn't do much to differentiate Donald and Scrooge's favorite nephews. For better or worse, Huey, Dewey, and Louie have always been more or less the same character in triplicate. The new DisneyXD DuckTales series, however, is finally changing that. We already know that Huey is clever and that Louie is laid back, but let's talk about that troublesome middle child. This is Dewey Duck. While it's mostly true that Huey, Dewey, and Louie traditionally share the same character design, voice, and personality, there are a few brief exceptions to this rule. And I'm not talking about Quack Pack. In the original DuckTales cartoon, there's this episode called The Duck in the Iron Mask, and the B story for that episode is all about Dewey going through an identity crisis. Before I get into that, I want to give a special thanks and shout out to viewers Atara, Derek, and GeoWiz for pointing this episode out. It's been a while since I've watched all of the original series, and I kind of forgot about this episode. Thanks, guys. This story is mostly a takeoff on the legend of the Man in the Iron Mask, but it also features a rare look at how the nephews might feel about being triplets. It starts at a baseball game. Dewey is up to bat, but everybody keeps getting his name wrong.
Huey Duck.
Huey? I'm not Huey!
It's the right one!
He's so distracted that nobody can tell him apart from his brothers that he winds up missing every pitch thrown his way.
What's wrong with you? I'm sick of people getting us mixed up all the time.
Back at McDuck Manor, he has a small comfort that Uncle Scrooge can tell him apart from the other boys. But when it comes time to go on an adventure, Dewey makes sure nobody will ever mistake him for his brothers again. By dressing like this.
What do you think? Nobody will ever mistake me for one of you guys. Thank goodness.
By the end of the episode, he learns a little lesson about how what makes him special isn't about how he looks, but who he is. But ultimately, Dewey's quest to stand out and be unique never has any lasting effects. By the next episode, he's once again just another identical triplet. But what if it wasn't a one-time storyline? What if Dewey was always trying to stand out from his brothers? What if that character trait wasn't just a plot convenience, but the core conceit of who he was? Then you'd have the Dewey from the DisneyXD DuckTales reboot. Just like his brothers, the reboot of Dewey is a duck born of common sibling character tropes. When the new DuckTales crew chose to give the nephews a bit more personality, it was decided that the traditional spoken order of their names, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, was also going to be their official birth order. This let the writers use brotherly stereotypes as templates to build the characters off of. The oldest child is usually the most responsible, so Huey became the studious junior woodchuck. The youngest kid often gets away with more, hence the mischievous Louie Duck.
Who's the evil triplet?
Louie.
That leaves Dewey with the exact same trope he embraced for that old DuckTales B story. The role of the attention-starved middle child. That's how Dewey's new voice actor describes him too. Speaking at D23 Expo back in July, Ben Schwartz says that Dewey is the middle child that wants to be seen, and if there's an adventure to be had, he's the first to jump in and try and prove himself and show, this is what I can do. When he tears up Huey's carefully planned road trip itinerary in favor of the spontaneity of adventure, or ignores Scrooge's cautious submarine route to Atlantis in this Twitter comic adaptation, we see a person who likes to charge into danger and take risks. It's a strategy that doesn't always work out for him either. I particularly love this exchange between him and Glumgold.
Let go of my uncle.
No.
I wasn't prepared for that.
In other words, Dewey is the bold, daring one who idolizes his Uncle Scrooge not for his wealth or intelligence, but for his spirit of adventure. In this way, he's a lot like Webby, someone who's obsessed with adventure, but doesn't always think things through. While Webby seems to approach this with a little bit more experience, what with that grappling gun and all, Dewey is just a little bit focused, and a little bit less sure of himself, but he's just as much of an adventure junkie. And that totally fits in with the middle child trope that he seems to be built off of. He desperately wants approval and attention from the adults in his life, which is why he's so hard-set and dedicated to chasing adventure. It's also why he's so let down when in the first episode preview, Scrooge doesn't seem to know his name.
In a moment, Sonny Jim.
I will cram it down your throat.
Like all the boys, I'm sure that Dewey will have more character traits that will emerge after the show's premiere. But this is a really good starting point. It sets up Dewey as a good foil to his brother Huey, someone less cautious with a tendency to rush in and take bigger risks. It's also a fun coincidence that his new personality matches that same middle child dynamic shown in The Duck in the Iron Mask, someone who's desperate to stand apart from his brothers. He's also rapidly becoming my favorite of the three boys so far. He has some of the best lines, and the delivery is hilarious.
What?
It's part of my character's backstory. What's yours?
My guy has a dart gun?
I'm looking forward to seeing who he becomes as the series goes on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he interacts with the other kids, particularly Webby, who seems to have the same kind of base personality and adventure obsession as he does. Who's your favorite nephew so far? Let me know what you think in the comments section or hit me up on Twitter. Are you overloaded by all these DuckTales videos? Me too, but the premiere is just around the corner. Just stick with me for another few weeks and we'll be past this hurdle and ready to add some other shows back into my schedule. In the meantime, thanks for watching, Internet, and take it easy.